Contact information is on the slide. You will see it in many more slides. And it's also, everything you see up here will also be, it's in your printed folder. If you have any questions about VMS, which I know you will, or EVS, which we're not talking about today, but I'm the EVS guy too. So what is VMS?
What is the Wi-Fi password? The Wi-Fi password?
Wi-Fi password, I think, is Guadalupe 1 with a capital G and a number 1. They changed it since I last looked, so I don't know if it's the same. It is Guadalupe system that we use to enter our hours, to record our volunteer time, our education time, and we must use it. There is no alternative. So if you wish to continue after you go through your class and get certified and stay with the organization, you must use VMS. In VMS, we don't only record our hours, we record mileage to and from projects or meetings, events. You don't get paid mileage, but it's there for you to record, and if you use that in your tax, it's a good reference to show what's what. The other thing is we record poundage. So certain gardens we have, we harvest the vegetables and fruits, nuts, and we take them to the local food pantry. So that's all recorded as well. And the other thing, when you're out in the garden working and people come up and start talking to you, asking you questions, that's a contact. So you tell them about Guadalupe County Master Gardeners and what we do and what's what. That's something you can also record in VMS. And we'll cover all that in detail. So VMS is what the state, well, multiple organizations, our county and the state, all you reference VMS and collect that data on a monthly basis. They used to do it quarterly and monthly, now it's always monthly. So it's very important that any hours you work in the current month, you get entered before the end of the month, or by the end of the month. So what that is the state and federal system funds our organization, and when they run the report, even if okay, let's say today is what, February 3rd, and I forgot to put in my hours for January, you can still do that, and it counts towards your certification or whatever it is that you're working on, certification, but it doesn't count towards our funding because it happened in the prior month or prior months, whatever, not within the time frame required. So it's good for you, but it's not the best for the organization. So timely input of your hours is very important. I use my phone. I know it's small screen, but it presents differently on here than it does on the computer. It's real easy, at least in my opinion, to do the stuff real quick. So when I'm done with the task, whatever it is, I try to go and put an entry in right then and there, because I'm bombarded with, since I took on this role, and I'll go sometimes a week, because it's just boom, 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 boom for me, and then I'm like, oh, what all did I do? And I have to remember and look at my logs and everything and try and recreate it, and I miss stuff, which we're all volunteers, so no big deal. if you can put your task in when you're done, that's the best thing. We also, if you can't do it right then that day, try and do it on a weekly basis so that you get in a habit. But the absolute worst case, come the end of the month, try and make sure all your time is in it. Let's see. So I already talked about this one somewhat, but we're gonna get into the second part here. A lot of questions I get is, how do I know what my hour is? Well, obviously right now you haven't started, so you haven't. But once you get going, oh, you know, how much more do I gotta do? When you first log into VMS, you're gonna see a home page. And there's gonna be a news section, there's gonna be a your progress section, summary section, and a link section. The your progress tells you at the time you log in, where you're at, as far as that's all that happened that day. That's one entry. You go in and you select your monthly membership meeting choice, and you put in your volunteer time, which the business meeting is typically 45 minutes, so it's 0.75. If you drove, you know, say it took you 15 minutes to get here, 15 minutes to get home. So for volunteer then, you put in 1.25, because 45 minutes for the business meeting and a half hour travel. And then you have 1 hour presentation, that's an hour of CE. And in the mileage thing, you can put in, okay, I drove 28 miles. And then you submit, that's your entry. But then you have days where you come here, you did something, now you go over to this garden, and you do something else, and maybe you went and did a third thing. If those three things were in the same category, like it was all organizational support, like I came here and I printed stuff for the class, and then I went over to St. Andrews and I did, I don't know, something that was administrative, and then I got home and I did a bunch of web updates. All those things that I just did were under organizational support, so I could put in one entry. But if I worked, instead of doing the administrative task at St. Andrews, I actually weeded and planted and watered, that would be a separate entry because it's a different project. Again, we'll get into all that details, but in your booklets, everything you see on the slides are all printed. And I will make the presentation, I should have done it already. I'll put the presentation on the web under the V bigger than what it's shown on the paper. So, what are credible hours? Credible hours are activities that are performed, that are approved by the board. There's an approved projects list that's kept up to date. I need to put that in your folders. I will get you the link to that. I knew I was forgetting something. So there's projects, and then there's other things that happen, like maybe you're part of a committee. Maybe you attended the board meeting and we talked about making cards for the membership that we hand out. Thank you cards. You go, oh, I want to be part of that team. That's an opportunity to do volunteer hours that is credible. But let's say that you go to Texas Master Naturalist and you're taking that course. That's not part of, or that's a different organization that requires logging of time. That would be eligible to be entered in VMS for Master Gardeners. Like you go to a Native Plant Society seminar and you listen to the presentation. They do not have an hours recording requirement. They're a nonprofit as well. They don't, it's not a for-profit or anything. You can attend and you listen to the presentation. That's continuing education that you can log for you. Attendance to our meetings, lunch and learns, committee meetings. If you're preparing for something, like I prepared for this, that time is volunteer time. And again, travel time to and from your project or event is volunteer time. The only thing that's special for interns is you can claim travel time for attendance, but only up to a total, so it includes the membership meeting. So you can attend the membership meetings. We want you to attend the membership meetings. But you can only count as part of your 50 hours until you've certified this. Once you've certified, this goes away, but until you've reached your 50 hours volunteer time, you can only count 6 hours total of coming to the membership meetings and any travel time to and from. So if it takes you an hour to get here and back, that's 2 hours, plus our business meeting, it's 2.75. When you got to the third meeting, you would obviously be over that 6 hour limit. So you couldn't record more than 6 for that particular event. But once you've certified, that limitation is gone. Non-credit, I already kind of talked a little bit. When doing your garden at home or landscaping at home or for your neighbor, that's not volunteer hours. That doesn't count. That's not an approved project. Hours for another group. Like I mentioned, NIPSOT, you can claim the education time. But let's say that you help with the NIPSOT plant sale. You can't count that for volunteer time. And we'd love to, because they are nonprofit. And a lot of times they help us by donating all the plants they didn't sell, and then we sell. But we're not allowed to count helping them at their plant sale or helping them in any volunteer way. We can help them, you just can't claim that time as master gardener volunteer. Business meeting, board meetings, again, on behalf of another organization, or hours benefiting a for-profit. So if there's a organization in town that says, hey, can you guys come and plant flowers for us and do da-da-da-da-da? Well, you could, but you can't record those hours. Food preparation. So our monthly meeting, everybody brings in food for the potluck. Preparing that food does not count as volunteer time. If you were baking something to take to our plant sale to sell, that time is counted. But bringing it for our meeting is not allowed. And of course, travel time to any of those that are non-credible is not allowed. So, continuing education hours. Obviously, you're getting education here, but you don't get to count. This is already counted for you essentially. So you don't log today's class time as CD. But if you come back, say, next week, I think, for the Lunch and Learn on Wednesday, you can count that. This has a list of some of the education stuff. On our website, there's a continuing education tab that has a lot, and I'm always adding more to it. Frank and I are always adding stuff. There's a lot that needs to be added, just haven't had time to do it. But our website has the most up-to-date links. On VMS, there's a links section I mentioned, and you'll see it shortly, that also has links. But I've never, until I became in this position, I never even paid attention to those. Because it's gonna open a web page, and it's fine, but I've been going to the web for the education links. So, but they're there. They're just not, everything that's in VMS is on the web, but everything that's on the web is not on VMS. So we use the web. Here are some links. Some of these are in VMS as well, but they're all on the website. And not only in the continuing education tab, but there's another tab called resources. There's a lot more stuff there. And like I said, we're always adding to it. Non-credible CE. So again, like say you're going to take Master Naturalist. You can't claim attending the Master Naturalist training class as Master Gardener CE. It would go under Master Naturalist CE, assuming they have a different rule than we do for the initial class. All right, VMS. I think in the beginning I had a link that I said bookmark this. This is essentially the same link. It's just the primary. If you click on it, it changes to the sign-in link from the form. But make sure you bookmark that. I bookmark it in my browser on my phone, my PC. Easy to get to. This is what the screen looks like when you go to that website. Your username and password. I sent an email Monday. Everybody should have received the email. Has your username, or if it didn't have your username, it told you what it would be. First name and last name with your first letter capitalized. No space in between, and your password. I don't know if anybody has tried to log in, or do you have any issues?
I did. Mine said it was invalid, the username, but I didn't know if maybe there was a different, like if some names may have been repetitive, like someone else may have had the same name, and so maybe it has another character in it.
It shouldn't have. We can look at that. I'll definitely help everybody on that today. And then your password was 2026 class 4 exclamation. So if you didn't, did anybody not get the email?
I got it, but I haven't opened it yet.
No worries. All right. So if you have any problems, again, my name, my email, my phone numbers throughout this document. April's also available. And when you first log in, first time you log in, you should see this screen. It's going to ask you a number of things like, do you want your account to be private? And what that means is, if I set my privacy to yes, there are certain fields that other people won't be able to see. Like they won't be able to see my phone number, they won't be able to see my address, but they can see my email address. I mean, they have to be able to communicate to each other, so or you don't have to. If you say no, then your phone number and your address is, visible. Regardless of whether you say privacy yes or no, the admins can see everything. So I can see it all because I have to be able to contact you in whatever needs. The second thing, so here's now once you're logged in, and when that first page, it would prompt you to change your password, or it should be prompting you to change your password. Because I would recommend not leaving it at what I set it to, because that means everybody else knows how to log into your account. What good would it do them? None, but still, it should be your own secure account. So you log in, this is the home page. So you see the news on the left, and of course this is an old snapshot. You'll see our current right now if you logged in, which I will shortly, and show you live. You'll see the membership meeting and enroll to learn information. On the right, you see the program activity, and that's for all years for the organization. So that's not you specifically, that's the organization. So, and then, it's been shown.
Thank you.
So there's that links page, but it's just the top of it, it's not showing you the rest. But there's also, it doesn't show on this screenshot, but there's another section, you'll see this little bracket, and it'll say your info, or your progress. It says your progress. And that's the one I was saying, when you log in, you can see exactly how many hours you have right now before you do anything in VMS. This is another screenshot of the links. This is not all of it, this is just a small part of what's out there. And you're welcome to use them, I checked them all recently, they're all good. But like I said, I would recommend using the website. This is a snapshot that shows you all the items underneath each of the heading for your access. At this point, you're an intern, so you don't have as much access necessarily as a certified person. And if you were an admin, you'd have even more. This is basically all the options you will see once you log in under each section. And what you can do today, once you log in, is you can edit your profile, like I said in the email. Make sure your address is there. Make sure your emergency contact, your phone numbers, all that stuff is correct. The reason why your address needs to be correct is we may send you something like we just did in January, the awards for 2025. And we also handed out the membership cards for 2026. Well, maybe you don't come to the meeting because of whatever reason, you can't drive at night. We will mail you stuff if you don't come in and pick it up after a certain amount of time. So we want to make sure your address is correct so we can send stuff to you if we need to. You can reset your password and of course add hours. And we'll go into all that stuff later. The calendars, to be honest, you can look at it, all that's documented, and we'll get to that section too. But I am not currently maintaining this calendar. In my opinion, it's redundant. I maintain the web calendar on the AgriLife website, and I don't want to have to do the same work in two different places. Sorry, it's hot up here. Under the general information tab, member roster. So you have a limited access view to the roster. You can click on that and see all the other folks in the organization. And depending upon their privacy setting, you'll see their phone numbers and email addresses. So, projects as well, you can click on that. There's other tabs under that you'll be able to see our current projects. There's also member interests, which will be covered in another screen, but there's all kinds of things. And then the doc newsletters. Our newsletters are actually not posted to VMS anymore. They are on the website as well. There's a newsletter tab. And now that you're in the system, when Melinda emails it every month, you'll get that newsletter automatically in your email. As far as documents go, that's where all our legal documents, our bylaws, our policy and procedure manual, anything relating to the organization is most likely on VMS as a document. You know, unless you're specifically looking for something, you probably never look at that stuff. And then of course there's the contact support. Don't do that. I'm support. That will send a ticket to the program manager. He gets all fussy. They need to contact you, not me. So please don't do that part. It's in here, it's documented, it shows you how to do it. But I send those things if I can't resolve it. You guys all come to me or April or one of the board members if you need help and you can't reach me. All right. So editing your profile. I'm not going to go through all these screens exactly because, again, it's all there and you'll have the electronic version as well. But, already talked about this, turning privacy on or off, putting your address, name, your information there, email address. Now, the other thing, so, and I think I said it in the email that I sent you, if you don't like your username being your first name, last name, you can change it. Change it in your profile. You can make it your email address. You can make it whatever you want. It's yours. You can change your password, and you should change it from what I initially sent you. Phone number information is very important. You don't have to fill out all three. You know, whatever you want is your primary. Most people use their cell phone. We just need to be able to reach you. We need to reach you. You can put a picture of yourself out there. You don't have to, but it's nice, and I need to do that for me, and I've been here for 3 years and I still haven't done it, so shame on me. But put your picture in there, and when you're looking at the membership roster, anybody that's got their photo in there, you can see, oh yeah, that's who that person is. So, but again, it's up to you. Emergency contact, hopefully we'll never need it, but we ask you to populate that as well. And then there's other information that shows on this screen. This is an admin screen, so we would put stuff in, like you see, 2013 background check expires January 22nd. You know, this is stuff that I would be entering, but you can see it on your profile, not anybody else's. That's the same screen. All right, so this is the interest tab. Once you log in, you see all these tabs at the top. Once you know, if you're in your profile, you have the contact, user, phone, all that. Interests is one of the tabs. This tab, this needs more work in my opinion. There's a ton of interests out there, but there's things that we don't have in there that I think we should add. And I want you, if you don't see, like say you're interested in hydroponics, I don't think hydroponics is yet on there. You know, hey, I'm interested in hydroponics. Send me an email, send me a text, call me, whatever. Say, hey, I don't see hydroponics. I think that should be on the interest list. I agree. I just haven't gotten to put that in yet. Or you see something in here that, you know, like, oh, what is this, you know, mean really? You know, reach out, be happy to help. If I can't answer the question, I'll find the answer for you and get back to you. But there's all kinds of interests out there, and there's ways, like for instance, you see 2021 board members. Obviously, it's really not relevant anymore, but we leave it there for a historical purpose. I probably should unpublish it because you don't care who is 2021. Almost 99% of you never would care about that. And there's other ways to see that, but declutter it by removing stuff that's not important. But let's say that you wanted to email that group. You could, that actually ties in another place where you could actually go and email that group. And we'll get to that, but I'm just trying to show you how the things coordinate. All right, projects. So, let me go back one. So let's say Earthkind, for instance. You're interested in, you have interest in Earthkind. Earthkind's a type of method of gardening and such. In your profile, on the projects tab, you can go sign up, or not sign up, but click that, you know, when you click that you're interested in Earthkind, that everybody else can see what your interests are. So, oh, hey, I'm interested in Earthkind, so are you. Let's get together on this. The projects page should have all of our projects that are current that you can say, I'm interested in this garden. Today, nobody unfortunately uses VMS in this respect, but it's there. So in this case, the person signed up for Shirt's community garden, which actually it's not a community garden, it's a demonstration garden, and the Gutierrez Garden Park. Maybe because they live right there in Shirt's Cibolo area. Anyway, they signed up for those. The POC for those projects can look at this and go, hey, I got 20 people who are interested in my project, but I haven't seen them. We contact them and say, hey, I see you're interested in Guadalupe demonstration garden or Gutierrez Park. I haven't seen you come out. You know, what do you know, we have volunteer work days on such and such, you know, come out and meet me and blah, blah, blah. It's a means to get people to communicate what they're interested in. So you don't have to sign up there. You can just go reach out to the talk and say, hey, I'm interested in helping you, and do it that way. You don't have to use VMS for that. But This is a means to say you're interested, to sign up, and a means for, if you become a POC one day, to look at this and go, hey, I got 20 people here, but I only ever see 2 that come out and help me. You reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you're interested in this garden. You know, I haven't seen you come out, and you establish that communication. Sorry. Reset password, again, that's what you can do, but obviously you have to log in first. So most of the time when you need your password reset, you can't log in, so you call me. But if you did, you know, want to change it, this is how you do it. All right, recording hours. So here you went and clicked on the Add New Hours screen. Top 2 fields that are circled, those are really not changeable because they're specific to you. You're under Guadalupe County, you can't change that. And your name, you don't want to change your name. If you happen to be needing to add hours for somebody else, that's a whole different ball of wax, and you wouldn't do it under your own. But anyway, those 2 fields are automatically filled out, and you'll do the project drop down, which is that part on the left. And our project list looks way different than this slide. We changed it late last year, condensing a lot of things, making it alphabetic order instead of the crazy order it was in, with those letters in front. And then you have a little calendar there. You can, so it automatically puts today's date in, but you can change it to whatever date you need. And you put in your number of hours, C, miles, and a short description. So don't put in volunteer. Don't put in one word. Unless that one word really tells me the whole picture, please put a short description. Because I don't go through and validate every single entry, but I do look for strange things. And so please put a short description. It doesn't have to be long, just what you did. Weeded, watered, composted, whatever. Then hours. We want everything done in quarter-hour increments. So if you worked 10 minutes, that's 15 minutes, 0.25. If you did something for an hour and 10 minutes, that's 1.25, an hour and 15 minutes. You always round up to the next quarter interval. And that's for volunteer and CE. So if you watch a video in 27 minutes, it's an hour and a half, 1.5.
But you still have to break it down, correct? When you insert it into VMS?
So if you, like I said, membership meeting, so you got a volunteer component, you have a CE component. The volunteer hour component goes in the volunteer hour box, and the presentation or education part goes in the CE box. So, yeah. And I come from having to track my time in 6-minute increments, or 0.1, 0.2, point. And I see a lot of people that put that in as well. Please use the quarter-hour increment. That's what the state wants it in. That's what we want it in. All right. So contacts. Remember I mentioned you're working in a garden and somebody comes up and starts asking you questions. That's a contact. So let me jump back real quick. When you're in there adding hours, in this field, you can't see it here, but we'll see it when we pull it up live. But down below this description, there's a field called population served. There's the description field. You see population served. It's not going to be expanded when you look at it. It's going to be toggled. So all you're going to see is that green line, and you're going to see all these fields. So you click on that toggle, and now you see these fields. And okay. What they want to know is the demographics of who you talk to, not necessarily what all you talk to, although you can put that into your description. They just want to know, okay, there was one white male, there was one white female, and that's it, whatever. So that's a contact, and that's important data for us and for the state, for metrics, you know, what is our goal? Education. That is our main focus, is to educate, provide education, and making contacts, and telling them about the organization, answering their gardening questions, horticulture questions. That's what we're about, and the more that we can report that, the better for the organization. Okay, all right, so now you have hours entered. This is what this screen shows. You've logged in and you're looking at view your hours. You get a list, and it's gonna be by default, it's gonna be the newest on top, oldest down. And you see these blue boxes. Those are the identifiers. So it says, okay, update class schedule. And it shows master gardening class, 0 miles, 0 CE. We can't see the volunteer, but let's say it shows a half hour there. And you went, I meant it to show 5 hours. So I spent 5 hours doing this prep, blah, blah, blah. You click on that blue button, and it opens up that entry, and you can go correct your mistake and save it. That's what the purpose of that blue button really is that you can edit an entry that you maybe made a mistake. Maybe you put in, here 8:13, and you meant to put in 8:15. Do I care that it was done on the 13th versus the 15th? No. I have no clue that you did whatever you did, other than looking here. But maybe to you, that's important to keep your thing straight. So that's how you edit. All right. Basically, this is what I just said. So you make your changes here, and you save it. Now, the other thing that you do here, but be careful, you can copy. So you have an entry, and we'll do this as an example live so you can really see it happen. But you put an entry, I water the Big Red Barn Garden every Wednesday evening. So I have an entry for last Wednesday, doing exactly that. So I don't want to type all that again. So I go to my entry, click on that blue thumbs up for last week, and I click copy. I change the date, change the amount of hours, because maybe this week it only took me 45 minutes instead of an hour, and then I save it. Now you've got this entry. All you gotta do is a little bit of work, but it's a separate new entry for the same task without having to type everything. So that's the copy thing. The thing that you gotta be careful of is you click on that record and you forget to click copy, and you change your existing record to the new information. Now your old record is gone. So make sure if you're making a duplicate, making a copy, that you click copy and then save it, because if you don't save it, it won't save, obviously. Or let's say that you see that you put in 2 entries for the same thing, and you did, because whatever reason, and you need to delete one of them. There's the delete button. You click on whichever one it was. Yep, this is wrong. Click delete, that entry's gone. All right, event calendars, like I said, all this here is documented, but I'm going to skip through it because nothing is defined out there right now. Not to say that we won't start